Hi. Well, my name is Elizabeth Wilson. Hello, and I'm here doing my ethnography interview. This is Mary Ann Laney, and she is a lifelong friend of mine. And we're actually going to be talking about her son, Peyton Laney, who is a 15-year-old young man. And so welcome, Mary Ann. Thank you so much.
Thanks. We're glad to do it for you. He is in the house. He's right behind you. So if he pops in, I'll just pause the recording.
Yeah, well, we're gonna try to get him on camera here. He does not want to answer many questions right now, so we're gonna go through Mom.
Sure, I give permission, but yeah, he's sometimes not really open for all the questions, but we'll do our best.
Thank you so much. Mary Ann, can you tell me a little bit how our wonderful Peyton came into your life?
Well, my husband and I, we had trouble maintaining pregnancies. And so we did go through infertility treatment and then realized we're both not really gamblers. And so we decided to go through the adoption process. And we signed up for an open adoption, meaning that we could have a relationship with the birth family. Incidentally, all the grandkids in our family are adopted. So it is the culture of our next generation to have children who don't look like us, so it was very, very normal for our family. And we adopted him from San Bernardino, which is, right here in Southern California. And he was born about 6-8 weeks early. And he was in the NICU for a good 6 weeks. He was 3.5 pounds. He's fairly strong for a preemie of that, gestation and size and whatnot. Had a few issues, but he just really busted through all the hopes and expectations we had. And he came home at 5.5 pounds. And we were just new parents, just trying to take it all in. And, we did sign up. They did ask us culturally or ethnically what we are open for. And we chose not a pure, like a Black child or an African-American child, because we just knew that my husband and I were both very, very Caucasian, and we couldn't really provide that full cultural experience for them. So we were open for mixed, and we did get a mixed child. And so at first he kind of looked like us. He had like red hair, and it was just, very fine. And he was very light skinned, and all babies have blue eyes, at the beginning. And then as he got older, he got darker hair, and it was curly, and it came in. And so we didn't have a whole lot of information from the birth family. So we do know that he is African-American, white, and Mexican. So I call it the SoCal special. Yeah, the beautiful mix. And so yeah, he's just really special that way.
Yes, he absolutely is. And so he identifies as African-American, Hispanic, or Latinx, and
sometimes he'll say Mexican, sometimes he'll say mixed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then he does participate in some activities in the African-American community, but he doesn't really say I'm Black. He does know that he is part Black, but again, I think your identification is up to you. And so he can kind of pick, he can choose, he can change. We're open for that.
That's so great. And how has it been being a parent and a parent of not only a child with a diverse background that's different than your own, but also a child who has been identified as having autism as well?
Yeah, I mean, I tell people there's multicultural issues, and then there's multicultural plus issues. And so being part of the autism community, because again, you don't really know. I mean, you birth him or you adopt him, but you don't exactly know what you're going to get. I mean, like I could have my own biological child with autism. So it's not, there was a lot of surprises. I think nobody goes into adoption, saying, oh, I want it to be less than perfect, but he is perfect in his own way. And my philosophy as, an educator and whatnot is, you just roll with the punches. You get what you get, and you just support it as much as you can. And I never really thought of the autism community as a community. I mean, you hear that, but you don't really realize you're part of it until you actually step into it. I mean, in my personal experience, I was trying to do it all myself. because I'm kind of that person. But then when we started getting him plugged into other programs or like, adaptive sports or anything, then when I started being around other parents, I actually cried the first time. I was with a group of other parents because I didn't realize that I was just, going at it alone really. And now I can't do it without the community. He's in a high school for children with autism and related disorders. And we even had a family picnic yesterday. And it's just a beautiful thing to see all walks of life, rich, not rich, like, Asian, white, black, all families, all walks of life. I mean, there's families from Yorba Linda to Dana Point that go to that school. And so it's really interesting to see how autism is a community, and it really is this really interesting carve out. It's not this one group of people that share a similar look or heritage or church or anything like that. It's everybody. There's a little piece of everybody under the sun that's in that autism group. And so it's really great that it is so super diverse. You can't say, in this one community, like again, maybe in the white community, there's things like cystic fibrosis and things like that. And that typically is a very white issue. But here in autism, it's everybody. I mean, even as school director there, I mean, the staff and faculty are diverse, and it is a really kind community. I mean, talk about a tribe. Everybody's there so patient with their children, their own children, everybody else's kids, and playing volleyball for hours yesterday, but never keeping score. Those sorts of things that it's a really interesting blessing to have all those pieces. And he, out of his school, there isn't a lot of children of color, but it's like yesterday, the picnic was optional, but that was, I would say, a very diverse carve out. His school is half private and half non-public school. So we get people like us who are there on sort of a scholarship through the school district. And then there are people there who pay the $16,000 a year. So we will get people who can afford that, but we also have people who are there because they need to be there.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So there's some various interview questions, but since Peyton isn't with me, I'm just going to kind of go through them with you. If you were going to choose a therapist for your child, what would you want the therapist to know right off the bat about your child, and how would you like for that therapist to act so that you would feel comfortable with your child, having your child be in session with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because not atypically, I understand the industry really frowns upon more than one therapist, but as a child in this, this carve out, he's got more than one therapist. And so what I typically look for, I mean, he's got ABA in the home, he's got therapy at school, he has a specific therapist on Wednesday nights, and then we just started equine therapy. And I do see that there could be a conflict, but we all have releases to speak to each other. Everybody's all on this little team, we've circled the wagons pretty hard. But at the same time, they each work on something a little bit different, which is kind of nice. And so I don't think one particular therapist could do it all. And so what I typically look for is somebody who has the training, right? So again, as therapists at school, it's a non-public school, there is a person who has the training. So I'm not too worried about that. His ABA people are usually highly trained. That's not a problem either. The therapist that we found for him for adolescent issues, he is a male therapist. And I actually do prefer male therapists with him for several reasons. First of all, I think he does identify with every woman as a mommy figure. And I'm very warm and like, let him cuddle me. And he, at 15 comes to me for sensory support and things like that. I do. And maybe this could be my bias, my feminism coming through, that he does treat men a little bit differently. But at 15, I think that's also developmentally appropriate for him to be like, dudes are cool and, women are just moms. Like, it's a little reductive, but I think that's where he's at. And I've seen him respond to men very positively because he likes to really like be a cool guy. And if there's cool men around him, he wants to be that guy. So thankfully his one-on-one aide at school is a man, 31 years old, like very positive, very highly trained. So I would prefer having a male therapist for him. However, in general, what would I want them to know about him is that he is a constant confluence of um, preferences and inputs. He's very multifocal. He loves everything and everyone. He is a lover of life and he has a lot going on. He's also very, very human, and sometimes he doesn't want to talk about things that upset him and hurt his heart, or he doesn't really understand. At 15, the world is confusing, and with the addition of autism, it can be even more confusing. So I just am looking for somebody who's patient, who's understanding, who's highly trained, who doesn't have the expectations. We have run into therapists who said, like, no, you need to do it like this. And I'm like, that's what a typically developed child should be able to manage. Even though Peyton looks very, very, people say to me, oh, he looks very normal. I'm like, what does that mean? Don't get me started on that, because we all, a lot of disabilities you can't see, but give it a minute, So yeah, give it a minute. And I hope you know the cubic size of your engine on the first car you had in 1992, because he will ask you. So yeah, so there's a lot. I just want people to be patient, understanding, and understand that, even though there's a textbook that says one thing, he could still be both of those things simultaneously. And then a third one is a kicker.
Absolutely. Have you found that you've come up against a lot of stereotypical, maybe microaggressions as raising a child who is ethnically different than you?
Absolutely.
And also compounded with a disability as
well?
Yeah,
absolutely. I've gotten everything from like, how does this hair get so curly? Do you perm it?
Wow. Yeah.
I even called him a little monkey one time. He was like 2 years old, and had a Black woman stop me and say, we're not made for monkeys. I was like, no, he is a child. I called a child a monkey, and that is okay. I do know that African-American people are not for monkeys. I do know that. I've had people from the Midwest, even when I said the same thing, they're like, oh, you're not supposed to say that because they're made for monkeys. I was like, no, they're not. Like, I've had all the stuff. I've also gotten looks from people when I'm walking with, my husband, and he's got like, blonde, white, curly hair or like wavy hair, and they'll be like, oh, she must have cheated on you, that kind of situation. I've gotten all kinds of things.
Wow.
Yeah. I've gotten I think I get the most dirty looks from actually Mexican men.
Really?
Like, if you were going to cross the line, baby, you should cross it with us first. And I'm like, I just adopted the kid. And I've actually recently just had a Black woman tell me, oh, he looks just like you. And I'm like, interesting, he's adopted. She goes, are you kidding? He looks just like you. So I was like,
nature versus nurture there.
Yeah, nature versus nurture. And we're both puffy and hyperverbal. So it's, I get that. But it's just like, I think we all have, or people would say, where does he get his curly hair? And I, depending on my mood, I'll say his dad, I think. Don't go. It's interesting because for me, microaggressions are less aggressions than they are ignorance.
Right.
Ignorance. Yeah. And so same thing. Now that he is plugged into a cultural group called the 100 Black Men of Orange County, I'm in the minority. There's a few white moms, there's a few Hispanic moms, there's a few like Asian moms, things like that, but mostly Black moms and things like that. But now we're seeing African families and Muslim families and things like that. So it's really kind of a really good mix of people in one group too, but it's really kind of nice. And so the microaggressions, it's interesting. I just chalk them up to ignorance, and I really don't let it get to me. I'd be curious to see how he answers the same thing.
Yeah, me too. Well, let me see if I can have him come out and say hi. Peyton. Peyton, you want to come say hi to my teacher and to your mom? She will. She's going to see it. Yeah.
Hey, Ben.
Hello.
Can you look in the camera? And do you want to introduce yourself?
I am Peyton Laney. I am the son of my mother. And I'm a bit of a handful.
You're a bit of you're a bit of a handful. Okay. I just want to make sure that they can see you. Oh, look at there. Very cool. Thank you, Peyton. So Peyton, you just have to, you did a wonderful job. Yes, you are your mother's son, and you are 15 years old. Yes. You're 15. Mm-hmm. And how do you identify?
It's funny.
Okay, very cool.
I identify also smart, intelligent, caring, a mama's boy.
We have it on record now.
Very good, Peyton. Thank you so much.
Oh, there's the sister. Yeah.
The baby sister. Peyton, you know that you're adopted.
Yes.
Have you ever felt any kind of weird things from, or have you ever felt like people treated you different because you were adopted?
I don't know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool.
What's it like knowing that your niece, that you remember our cousins, Spencer and Avery, they're
Yeah.
adopted too. What's that like having cousins who are adopted?
Interesting.
Yeah, they're from Korea. So yeah, our family's very multicultural that way. It's just our norm.
And my uncle's Japanese, my cousin's Korean, my aunt is white, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, we just have a multicultural family. Yeah.
Yes, you do. You have a beautiful family. Well, that I
And
think.
you're part of it.
Oh, thank
Aw.
you, Becky. Yes,
Do you want
yes,
to, Peyton, do you
but-
want to say anything about your culture or your community of autism?
I am part of the community of autism. I have a slight lisp, as you can probably hear. I live in a home with white people and a recovering redhead, which is my dad.
That's right. So what's it like? What's it like being in a school with all kids who are special?
It's hard. It's hard
Like,
because all the kids are they're always super joyful and always like crazy, more crazy than me even.
oh, really?
Mhm.
That must be tough.
It is.
You're doing a really good job, though.
Yeah, A's and B's.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. What would you like? What would you like Auntie Liz's teachers to know about you?
That I care a lot about Auntie Liz, so be careful with her.
Oh, you're protective, my love.
And always be nice to her and don't give her too much homework.
Oh, well, that's from the mouth of a 15.
You heard it. You heard it from the man.
Right. And last question, I'm just going to jump in with one last question. You have a lot of therapy and a lot of support right now, right, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you wish that they would know better about you?
That I need to be heard more, and I need to have my trust being. I have to have them build my trust,
Wow.
Oh, yeah, those are big.
Beautiful, Peyton. That's huge.
because my trust is hard to get built.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
See, yeah, and those are big words, big issues for 15, but guess what? Those are 100% normal.
100% normal.
I felt like that at 15.
Me too.
Yeah, I need to be heard, and trust is very huge. Yeah. So thank you, love. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. You can say goodbye if you want.
Wait, don't I have that part of the interview?
Yeah,
This is kind of it. Would you
So-
like more questions?
Is this my part of the interview?
Yeah, you're all done.
Oh,
See what a great job you did?
yeah.
Okay. You're all done. Thank you.
That's
All
it.
right. Well, thank you, Miss Marianne, and thank you, Peyton, for joining me on this journey. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
We're happy to help, and we're so excited for your journey too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.